Howdy y'all, Fuzzy Biker here at Baxter Cycle in the mighty metropolis of Marnie, Iowa. Baxter Cycle, Royal Enfield, Triumph over yonder. Check this hot rod out. This is a Royal Enfield Himalayan, the standard version. I've got one just like this, only mine's got about 25,000 miles on it. This one's about brand new. But anyway, what is a Royal Enfield Himalayan? It is an ADV bike, and it is a 411cc single overhead cam, single cylinder, 2-valve engine, air cooled. Mine makes about 24 horsepower and about 24 foot-pounds of torque. That's about 32 newton meters. Has a 5-speed transmission. The brakes on these hot rod are a 300 millimeter disc on the front with ABS and a 2-piston bibrake. On the back end, they've got a 240 millimeter disc right there with a single pot bibrake. It's a monoshock. Tires are a 90-90-21 on the front, 41 millimeter forks with about 7.9 inches of travel. I think that's about 200 millimeters. On the back, the tire is a 120-90-17, and there's about 7.1 inches of travel on the back. That's about 180 millimeters. Ground clearance on these things, and there is quite a bit of ground clearance, look at that. About 8.6 inches, that's about 220 millimeters of ground clearance. Fuel tank is about 4 gallons, that's 15 liters. Wheelbase on this thing, a whopping 58 inches, that's 1,473 millimeters. Seat height, 31.5 inches, or about 800 millimeters. Now the other big difference, big thing to talk about is the weight. 439 pounds, that's about 199 kilograms, that's wet weight. Other things we're going to talk about? Well, you know what? Let's stop talking. Let's take this hot rod for a ride. I'll gear up and we shall go. Wow. So when these bikes first came out, I did not want to ride them because why would I want to ride a 24 horsepower ADV bike? Baxter Cycle got me on one for a day. This is put about all you want on there. I put about 180 miles on it and I just fell in love. As a matter of fact, I fell in love so strong that I stayed away from Baxter Cycle for over a month because I didn't want to impulse buy one. And one of the best bikes I ever bought. I finally did get one, the red and black one, and I've never looked back. It's a motorcycle I've never regretted buying. I just love it. Now, if y'all are in the market for a new or used Royal Enfield, Triumph, British bike of any type, classic, vintage, and such, get yourself over here to Baxter Cycle in the mighty metropolis of Marnie, Iowa, or go to baxtercycle.com. Tell them Fuzzy Biker sent you. Wahoo! Alrighty, let's do the famous spin test right here. This bike has a 58-inch wheelbase. Look at that. Just spins around on a dime. Does it just fine. I love it. I love it. Loads of torque. Loads of torque. Quick story about these things. Took a ride with a bunch of friends of mine one day. One was on a Goldwing, the other on a Harley. We got to where we were going and they said, oh my gosh, the road was so rough, so rough. Well, it wasn't. At least it wasn't for me. And the reason is these bikes have such great suspensions. Loads of you know, almost 8 inches in the front, 7 inches in the back. That the bumps are just soaked up. You know, it just soaks up highway bumps, no problem at all. And it does highway very well. That's one of the reasons I bought my Himalayan. Is I could hop on my bike from where I live, for instance, run all the way down to the Luss Hills, which are about 50 miles away, on paved roads. Get to the Luss Hills, hop on the dirt and the gravel, and have all kinds of good times. And at the end of the day, hop back on the pavement and buzz home at normal highway speeds. Not a problem at all. Okay, let's do the hill spin test here. Mighty hill spin test. Let's see what we can do. If you're ever in Marnie, Iowa, get yourself up here to the Derailed Grill right there. Good eats, good eats. Look at this. Loads of traffic today. There is a rush hour in Marnie, Iowa, and it is 4:11 p.m. every day. What a hoot. Anyway, I just love these bikes. They're just an absolute grin to ride. As a matter of fact, in the month of September, I put 4,000 miles on my Himalayan. You know what? Let's run back down to Baxter Cycle, park this hot rod, and we'll do a quick walk around. Wahoo! Always enjoy riding a Himalayan, and this one is no exception. Absolutely gorgeous bike in every way to my eye. It's very tractor-like to a lot of people, and I think that's a fair description of it. It does have this kind of squared-off gas tank. It is kind of a, I don't want to call it industrial, but it's close to that. Its transmission for a Royal Enfield is kind of clunky. Things to note to this one, well, the color, I love the color on this one. So it's got this silver on it, but this color here is kind of a maroon, brownish maroon of some sort, and it carries on into the seat and also into the lettering right here. The more you ride them, the more you fall in love with the looks. It's just, for somebody like me, a very emotional connection with a motorcycle like this. I just love mine. So, you know, looking up here, we talked about the numbers are ready. One of the things I would say about it, again, if you have not had a 21-inch tire on a motorcycle ever before, you probably should try a 21-inch front tire at some point. They're they're a lot of fun. On mine, I did raise the fender. About a week or so after I had the bike, I got caught in the mud, and I just loaded up the front fender, and the front tire just stuck like a brake, and ended up pushing it 100 yards. It was a, let's just say, the very next trip to Baxter's, I raised the fender up for sure. I also put a grill guard on mine, and I did a bigger windshield. Mine is bone stock. I've kept the stock exhaust, stock intake, stock everything. You know, I've just never done anything to the engine other than basic maintenance, you know, valve adjustments, oil changes, things like that. It does have a monoshock in the back. You can lower or raise the bike. It's a linked monoshock, which means it's progressive, and you can put longer or shorter links on there. You put a longer link and it lowers the bike, a shorter link and it raises the bike. Also, by the way, it has a center stand stock, which is great because it's a, you know, it's a chain drive bike. Love, love, love this whole thing. It's just a beautiful thing. I did put Dunlop Trail Max Mission tires on mine. I think I got 13,000 off my stock Seat, and ended up putting a Dunlop Trail Max Mission on there, and I did the same thing on the back. I think I had 4,400 on the back tire when I changed it. The back tire was pretty wore out by that point, but I also got a nail in it. So anyway, those tires made a great deal of difference in how the motorcycle works. Another difference is they put a heavier load capacity on the rear stand. Something we didn't talk about yet is I guess the dash area. So the clutch, flash to pass, high lows, blinkers, horn. Jumping over here is the kill switch. This is a hazard lights, and then the start button, of course, and then the fuel brake over here. This is kind of an interesting thing. When I first started riding the Himalayans, I always thought that this was, you know, looked antiquated, and I still kind of think that, but I also have grown to love it. It's an analog dash with an analog speedometer, analog tachometer, analog fuel gauge, and a little bit of digital stuff down here. If you look down here, there's an always visible clock, an always visible gear indicator, which on this bike is apparently over here now. Oh, that's interesting. Some of the things that people do up here is they'll raise the bars or bring them back a little bit, and you know, that's fine. On mine, I did put the mirrors out a little farther. I raised them up, and then the extenders, you know, took them out, probably up here somewhere, just to clear my shoulders a little bit. Other things I've done to mine is I put bags on the back. I put racks on the back. You can get large racks or small racks. I put small racks with small bags because my intent was to use the thing as a day rider, you know, maybe overnight or once in a while, but not long trips. So I wanted the small bags. And if I need to, I can put a big bag on top, you know, if need be. So very happy with it. But no, these are just absolutely wonderful motorcycles. Like I said, you know, one of the reasons I bought one for myself is when the road ends, I can keep going, you know. When the pavement ends, I can get on the gravel. When the gravel ends, I can get on the dirt. When the dirt ends, well, I've gone through cornfields and dirt and, you know, hills and things like that. And it just seems to do it very well. Go a very steep hill because it's got such a low, you know, low gearing. Just a great overall motorcycle. Now, if y'all are interested in something like this, a new or used Royal Enfield, Triumph, classic British bike of any type, get yourself over to Baxter Cycle in the mighty mini-tropolis of Marnie, Iowa. Check that out. Or go to baxtercycle.com and give these guys a call. Get a hold of these people. Tell them Fuzzy Biker sent you. You know, life is good. Life is good. Now, it's a beautiful day, and I think I am going to hop on a motorcycle, and I'm going to go for a ride. Y'all do the same. Wahoo!